This 450-year-old vampire has actually been working diligently at a bathhouse for 10 years, just to take a sip of 18-year-old virgin boy's blood. Several years ago, on a sunny afternoon, the vampire Ranmaru Mori was injured by a hunter, and nearly died from exposure under the scorching sun. Luckily, he was rescued by the only son of the owner of the time-honored bathhouse Koinoyu. Since accidentally turning into a vampire in 1582, Ranmaru Mori had spent hundreds of years wallowing in despair. He had tasted the blood of the rich and powerful, and also sampled the blood of ordinary folks, but no matter how much human blood he had drunk, he had never been able to relieve that burning hunger. It wasn't until he met Tadino Rainen, the young master of the bathhouse, that he realized the exquisite taste of virgin boy's blood, clear pupils, and a pure heart. The unpolluted Rainen is the most wonderful delicacy. To get this gift from nature, he even went so far as to lurk and work at the bathhouse for 10 years, silently guarding Rainen all the while, making sure that his growing environment remained pure, so that he could feast on Rainen's blood deliciously. When Rainen turned 18, now Rainen is already 15 years old, and there are only 3 years left until the day of the feast. Ranmaru Mori can feel victory waving at him, but another spring has arrived. All things are reviving. It's the season when animals mate. The adolescent Rainen is about to enroll in high school. Ranmaru Mori got up early, treating it as if facing a formidable enemy.
死神かい？いいえ、
私はヴァンパイアです。
ヴァンパイア。なんちゃんのそのボケ毎回笑っちゃうよ。
Ranmaru Mori never hid his identity. It was just that no one believed him. When school was over, Rainen rushed home in a hurry. He shyly told Ranmaru Mori, "I have someone I like." It turned out that Rainen was in a hurry to go to school this morning, and accidentally bumped into a girl named Lily. He immediately fell in love with her at first sight, and entered his first romance. This put Ranmaru Mori in a crisis. He was worried that Rainen would lose his virginity because of this, causing the perfect blood that he had pursued for 10 years to go down the drain. So he immediately launched the operation to prevent virginity loss.
10代の男子は親に恋がバレると萎える。
Ranmaru Mori told Rainen's parents that their child seemed to have fallen in love. As soon as he said this, it naturally aroused everyone's curiosity.
リヒト、人生の先輩として一つだけアドバイスしておく。ゴムはつけろよ。それは違うだろう。
Rainen wished he could dig a hole and crawl into it. If he had known this would happen, he wouldn't have told Ranmaru Mori. Now things had become so awkward. That being said, as soon as Ranmaru Mori took the initiative to apologize, Rainen threw his previous thoughts out the window. He even wanted Ranmaru Mori to help him come up with some ideas. The boy said shyly as he opened his pillow, and took out Lily's pink handkerchief, saying that this was given to him by the girl when they met this morning. It was just that he had missed the chance to return it. He had even been sleeping with the handkerchief under his pillow. He wondered if doing this made him a bit weird.
それを貸してもらえますか？
おい、変態！変態！変態だよ。
Based on the scent on the handkerchief, Ranmaru Mori quickly located Lily's home address. Ranmaru Mori quickly explained for him not to be afraid. "I'm not a weirdo, I'm just a vampire." Based on Ranmaru Mori's 450 years of experience, for teenage girls, once their crush is exposed prematurely, they will lose interest right away. But Lily didn't have a crush on Rainen at all. Ranmaru Mori was displeased when he heard this. "Rainen is pure and lovely. Are you blind? How could you not be attracted to him?" Upon hearing this, Lily couldn't help but sigh. "I'm so busy every day. How could I waste my time on falling in love?"
何言ってるんですか？時間なんて使いようでしょ。青春は短い。恋せよ乙女！
Suddenly, the voice of Lily's mother came from outside the door. Ranmaru Mori had to slip away first. At this point, he didn't know that he had gotten himself into trouble. It turned out that Lily was a vampire fan, and now she was completely infatuated with Ranmaru Mori. Early the next morning, Rainen went to school anxiously. He practiced all the way how to return the handkerchief to his crush. Ranmaru Mori followed him all the way, holding an umbrella, with a sense of melancholy in his heart. When school was over, Rainen rushed home immediately again, to share the progress of the day with Ranmaru Mori. He had already added Lily as a friend, and was struggling with how to send the first message. As soon as he finished speaking, Lily appeared. Her water heater was broken, so she wanted to take a bath here. Ranmaru Mori hid everywhere but still got caught. He absolutely couldn't expose his identity in front of Reinen, so he told Lily that vampires couldn't possibly exist. You were just having a dream yesterday, weren't you? Lily wanted to argue a few more words, but was called away by her mother. When she came out after taking a bath, she saw Ranmaru Mori standing beside her car. Lily instantly realized that the vampire lord had denied his identity just now, because he couldn't expose himself in front of others. She promised that she would keep her mouth shut from then on. Lily plucked up the courage to confess her love to Ranmaru Mori. Although this turn of events was somewhat unexpected, Ranmaru Mori decided to feed on this girl. Unexpectedly, this scene was just seen by Reinen.
何チューしようとしてんだよ。
え？ああ、いや、誤解です。チューしようとしてません。
Ranmaru Mori lied that there was a bug on Lily. He just wanted to help get rid of it. But Lily was ecstatic in her heart. She concluded that the vampire lord was interested in her. If they hadn't been interrupted, maybe this would have worked out, and Reinen also thought that Ranmaru Mori was interested in Lily. Otherwise, why would he sniff her handkerchief and dress up elaborately to come out for a tryst? In a fit of pique, Reinen rode his bicycle and left. He wouldn't give up on Lily. Seeing that Reinen had run out of the house and not come back for a long time, Reinen's father and the others weren't worried at all. Only Ranmaru Mori was worried that Reinen would be stimulated to do something stupid.
積んだバイクで走り出したり、校舎の窓ガラスを壊して回る気なんじゃ。
尾崎豊！
まさかタバコ！
If such precious pure blood were contaminated by nicotine, it would be like pouring toilet water into a bottle of Romanée-Conti wine. Just then, the TV station suddenly cut in with a news bulletin, saying that 2 homicide cases had already occurred this month. There were suspected bite marks near the victims' necks. The crime scenes were on the red light district street lined with hotels. Fearing that something had happened to Ranmaru Mori hurried out to look for him, but he accidentally stumbled into a strange organization. The leader here was called Senior Frankenstein, a fitness fanatic. He only cared about his muscles, and whether he could defeat everyone around him in his life. He was followed by a group of admiring underlings. Ranmaru Mori asked them if they had seen Reinen. Unexpectedly, several delinquents immediately surrounded him. He beat them all to the ground one by one. Frankenstein quickly clenched his fists and swung them at him, but he was kicked flying by Ranmaru Mori with one foot. Moreover, he could smell that this muscle man was actually a pure virgin boy. He didn't drink or smoke, and was very clean. He couldn't help but encourage Frankenstein, hoping the young man would keep it up. Then he turned around and went to look for Reinen. Unexpectedly, Frankenstein was completely convinced by that single kick from Ranmaru Mori, and wanted to acknowledge him as his elder brother. As soon as he finished speaking, Reinen rode past on his bicycle. Ranmaru Mori was instantly overjoyed. He hurried over to check if Reinen was hurt, and if he had picked up any bad habits. But he found a book on Reinen, titled Ways to Defeat Your Love Rival. It turned out that this was a love triangle. From the following conversation, we learned that Senior Frankenstein wasn't part of a gang, but a third-year student at Nagoshi High School. Strictly speaking, he was also Reinen's senior, so Ranmaru Mori asked him to keep an eye on Reinen at school. Frankenstein was more than happy to do so, saying he would never betray his elder brother's trust. Reinen was happy to have made a new friend, and even specially asked Frankenstein to stay overnight. The next day, when Reinen went to school with Frankenstein, he found out that Lily was actually his biological sister. When Lily heard that her brother knew Mr. Vampire, she also wanted to go to Reinen's house to play. Their homeroom teacher Sakamoto, upon hearing them mention vampires, couldn't help but come over to ask about it. Reinen quickly explained that there was a Mr. Mori, who worked and lived at their house, who always claimed to be a vampire, so they were just joking around earlier. Teacher Sakamoto looked quite interested, asking Reinen to talk in detail about Mr. Mori's usual behavior. Reinen explained that he would say he was 450 years old, and spout nonsense, like how he was favored by Oda Nobunaga in the past. We all know Oda Nobunaga was a military strategist, from Japan's Sengoku period to the Azuchi Momoyama period. Together with Toyotomi Hideyoshi and Tokugawa Ieyasu, he's known as one of the 3 great unifiers of the Sengoku period. Ranmaru Mori and he were indeed sworn brothers, who shared life and death. Of course, Ordinary people would never believe such words, but teacher Sakamoto was different. He was actually a vampire hunter. His ancestor Sakamoto Ryoma was killed by the vampire Ranmaru Mori. It was also teacher Sakamoto who injured Ranmaru Mori 10 years ago, leading to the latter being accidentally rescued by Reinen. In short, he had been searching for Ranmaru Mori all these years. He never expected to actually find his archenemy. Ranmaru Mori caught the speeding bullet with his bare hand, telling Sakamoto not to shoot casually in the bathhouse. This public bathhouse had a history of 60 years. If you damage it, you won't be able to afford the compensation. Upon hearing this, Sakamoto actually put down his weapon and dueled with Ranmaru Mori barehanded. Unluckily, he was no match for the vampire. He even unluckily stepped on a bar of soap and fell down. Ranmaru Mori closed in step by step, ready to end the guy's life.
この時を待ちわびたぞモリラ。離せ。俺の血を吸ってくれ。
It turned out that Sakamoto had fallen in love with Ranmaru Mori at first sight 10 years ago. His life goal had also slowly changed from killing his enemy to becoming his enemy's blood bag. Moreover, to ensure that Ranmaru Mori could drink the best blood, Sakamoto had also kept his virginity all this time. Ranmaru Mori couldn't accept it for a moment. He suddenly didn't want to drink Sakamoto's blood anymore, because the only one he truly wanted was Reinen. Ranmaru Mori accompanied him through the long summer vacation. Every day was filled with joy and contentment. The two even made an appointment to go to the summer festival together. This made Ranmaru Mori very happy. But when he opened the door, Frankenstein and Lily were there too. Even that guy Sakamoto was going to tag along. Could anyone sort out the secret crush relationships among these 5 people?
葵ちゃんともっと仲良くなるチャンス。ヴァンパイア様とお近づきになる絶好のチャンス。
この女子だけは隅に置けぬ。モリランとリヒト君との仲を徹底的に邪魔してやる。リヒトとうちの葵をくっつけりゃいいんだって。
Sakamoto greatly admired Frankenstein's idea. As long as Reinen and Lily started dating, he could take the opportunity to win over the heartbroken vampire. In short, the whole world was against Ranmaru Mori. To prevent Reinen from successfully confessing his love, Ranmaru Mori simply transformed back into his vampire form, quietly kidnapped Lily and flew towards the night sky.
どうだ、怖かろう、小娘。
素敵。こんなの生まれて初めて。素敵な夜です。ヴァンパイア様。
Lily couldn't help but test Ranmaru Mori, asking him if he had someone he liked. Ranmaru Mori said that he did have someone he had to get, but it would take some time before he could take action. After hearing this, Lily became more and more convinced that the vampire lord must also like her. The reason he wasn't making a move now was that she wasn't yet 18 years old. Then Ranmaru Mori asked Lily if she also had someone she liked. The girl blushed and shyly admitted it.
私のすべて差し上げます。ヴァンパイア様。
Ranmaru Mori thought Lily was infatuated with Reinen. He completely misunderstood what she meant. At this point, everyone else was looking for them everywhere. Ranmaru Mori quickly took Lily back and lied that they had just gotten separated by accident. But Reinen noticed the unusual atmosphere between them. After the festival, he was in a bit of a low mood. On second thought, he didn't have anything to make Lily like him. Reinen thought he wasn't good at studying, nor was he good at sports. After hearing this, Ranmaru Mori immediately encouraged him. Only after encouraging him did he feel something was wrong. How did he become a wingman again? Time flew by, and autumn arrived in the blink of an eye. In a park in the Shinjuku district of Tokyo, there was a woman lying unconscious on the ground. Upon examination, it was found that all the blood in the woman's body had been drained. Although she was rushed to the hospital urgently, she was soon pronounced dead. In fact, 6 similar cases had occurred. Since April this year, most vampires lived disorderly and degenerate lives, so it wasn't surprising that homicide cases had occurred. Only a weirdo like Ranmaru Mori would work diligently for humans every day. Moreover, he didn't like immortality at all. If he had a choice, Ranmaru Mori would only want to be an ordinary human being. As night fell, a white-haired man suddenly darted into an alley. He was the vampire who had been harming people frequently recently, and he specifically targeted vampire hunters. The white-haired man killed the female hunter and erased her name. Judging from the list, his next target was teacher Sakamoto. The next day, Reinen ran home angrily. He pulled open Ranmaru Mori's curtains in one go, almost killing the vampire with sunlight. He pulled up the photos taken on the day of the summer festival, and kept zooming in on them. It turned out that the photos had captured Lily and Ranmaru Mori on the rooftop. Reinen was very angry.
堂々と戦おうって確認したよね。森さんそうじゃないって。協力してくれるって。陰で、こそこそこんなことしてさ。
He felt betrayed by someone he trusted. He didn't want to talk to Ranmaru Mori anymore. On the other side, Sakamoto went to substitute for a teacher who had asked for leave. But he heard a scream coming from upstairs. The students scrambled to run away. Sakamoto hurried into the classroom to check. It turned out that the white-haired vampire had arrived.
お主のご先祖様はなかなかの歯応えじゃったな。坂本龍馬をやったのはわしじゃ。
450 years ago, the white-haired vampire was known as Oni Musashi. He wore a dragon-shaped helmet and wielded a blade that could cut through anything, striking fear into everyone's heart. But he only obeyed Oda Nobunaga unconditionally. He was willing to sacrifice himself for Oda Nobunaga, and Ranmaru Mori was Oni Musashi's younger brother. His appearance had taken away all of Oda Nobunaga's favor. Oni Musashi was consumed by jealousy towards his younger brother. He also blamed him for not protecting Lord Nobunaga well, which led to Nobunaga being burned to death in the fire. So from that day on, Oni Musashi swore to take revenge on his younger brother. Because Sakamoto refused to reveal Ranmaru Mori's whereabouts, Oni Musashi planned to take his life. Unexpectedly, during their fight, Sakamoto's phone fell to the ground. The phone's lock screen was a photo of Ranmaru Mori. Sakamoto shot and destroyed the alarm. You should know that vampires' hearing is 10 times more sensitive than humans. Sure enough, Oni Musashi covered his ears in pain. Sakamoto took the opportunity to escape. Little did he know that Oni Musashi was secretly following him. On the other side, Ranmaru Mori, who had been rejected by Reinen, was disheartened. Just then, he received a call from Sakamoto, but it was his brother's voice that came from the other end of the line. Oni Musashi gave an address and told him to go there at once. Ranmaru Mori was spotted by Lily and the others while flying. They were about to chase after him when they unexpectedly saw the injured teacher Sakamoto and learned that Ranmaru Mori was in trouble. At this point, the two vampires were inside the gymnasium. Oni Musashi lashed out with his long nails and attacked first. He pressed his younger brother, asking about the day of the Great Fire, why he didn't turn Lord Nobunaga into a vampire too. But Ranmaru Mori thought that it was precisely because life was short that humans seemed so beautiful, so he didn't want to turn the person he admired into a monster. Unluckily, Oni Musashi couldn't understand this, since Ranmaru Mori kept refusing to fight back. He found it very boring, so Oni Musashi threatened Ranmaru Mori, saying that he would also take away the person Ranmaru cherished the most. As soon as he said this, Ranmaru Mori finally lost his composure. He stabbed Oni Musashi right through the chest in one swift move. He would never allow anyone to hurt Reinen, but he had drunk very little blood over the years, and was no match for Oni Musashi at all. He was quickly disarmed, with both his arms cut off. In the nick of time, Reinen arrived just in time. He supported Ranmaru Mori and fled to the rooftop. Oni Musashi immediately realized that this boy was the person his younger brother cherished the most. Even though Reinen didn't understand what was going on, he bravely stood in front of Ranmaru Mori, but unluckily, he was punched flying by Oni Musashi the next second. At this hair-raising moment, Ranmaru Mori suddenly unleashed his divine power. He summoned his severed arms back and successfully stopped Oni Musashi. He didn't expect that he had such power either. Reinen and Lily used the brooms in their hands to form a cross. Ranmaru Mori was about to say that this thing was useless, but he found that his brother was actually afraid of the cross. But why was he not afraid of it at all?
見たことがないのか。あの禁断の書を。禁断の書とは。ウィキペディアじゃ。
ウィキペディア
It turned out that Oni Musashi had found online that vampires were afraid of garlic and crosses, so he thought these things were his weaknesses. He had been brainwashed by those online. Remarks. Thanks to Oni Musashi stirring up this whole mess, Ranmaru Mori and Reinen made up. Oni Musashi was consumed by jealousy. Why did everyone like his younger brother? Mom and Dad doted on him more. Lord Nobunaga also held him in the palm of his hand. Now even a human high school student was willing to stand up to a vampire for Ranmaru Mori, but he was always all alone. It was the first time Ranmaru Mori had heard his brother pour out his heart, so he simply invited him to find a place to live nearby. From now on, the two brothers could support each other. Ranmaru Mori also promised to help his brother find something he loved. whether it was a lover, a pet, anime, or video games. In this day and age, as long as you find something you are passionate about, the arrival of tomorrow will become something to look forward to. Life will start to move forward again, after wandering alone for hundreds of years. Oni Musashi was successfully persuaded by his younger brother, and joined this loving big family. From then on, he started chasing Heisei Jairu and found the meaning of his life. On this day, everyone gathered together to celebrate Rainan's birthday.
16になった息子に俺からだ。
息子に不純に性行為を強いるなど、れっきとしたセクハラ、出なかっちゃ
There were only 2 years left until Rainan turned 18. From now on, Ranmaru Mori would also work hard to protect his boy's virginity. The film ends here. This film is adapted from the manga of the same name. Facts have proven that as long as every actor delivers the cringy lines confidently, and without hesitation, you can make a pretty good live-action manga adaptation. The exaggerated body language and catchy melody perfectly match the film's zany tone. Beneath the chaotic story of unrequited love battles lies a gentle interpretation of choice and protection. Although the overall production has a bit of a rough edge, for a comedy film focused on stress relief, these minor flaws don't affect the viewing experience. If you are tired of formulaic plots, and want to find a movie that will make you laugh heartily, Bamba Ban Ban Vampire is definitely an excellent choice.